Hello all and welcome to another Winged Review, and over the years I've seen a fair few animes. Some I found myself, others were recommended by friends, but there was one series that not only got recommended by quite a few of my friends, I had people on websites yelling at me because I hadn't watched it yet, and that was Fullmetal Alchemist. But although I had been recommended it so many times, when I found out about the law of equivalent trade, that I actually found more intriguing. Although there's magic in it, if someone wants to gain something, they have to offer something of equal value in order to get what they want, which I thought was quite an interesting idea and was curious about how it would fit into the series, which is the main reason I wanted to watch it. So I gave it a go. I watched the last few episodes yesterday and it was really good, though it probably wasn't quite as good as it'd been hyped up to be. I wasn't expecting it to be. I always find hype something that can make or break a series, so I just went in with an open mind and I enjoyed it. But for the plot, it revolves around Edward and Al Elric, two brothers who are alchemists, although they're, at the start of the series, 10 and 12 I think. Edward's the older one. And as much as you can offer something to gain something, something that has actually been banned throughout the alchemist world is human transmutation, or pretty much resurrecting the dead, mainly because it doesn't work. Those people have tried to do it, it has always been a failure, and when Edward and Al's mother got killed, they tried to resurrect her, and of course it went wrong. Edward ended up losing one of his arms and one of his legs, and Alphonse almost got killed. He was pretty much going to lose his entire body, but Edward manages to seal his soul inside a suit of armour, so he's pretty much from then on an immortal suit of armour who doesn't get hungry, tired or anything like that, so he's pretty badass. But because of this happening, they've pretty much learnt their lesson and go travelling around to try and find a way to return Al to his normal body and to get Edward his arm and leg back. And when they find out about a stone that can boost an alchemist's power to the point where they can actually disregard the law of equivalent trade, they think it's the best way for them to try and sort out their goal. Thing is, because I watch animes subtitled, it's always subtitled by different companies and stuff, so as you go from episode to episode, there can be slight changes with the names things get. Like the stone they were looking for, in the first episode it was referred to as the Sorcerer's Stone, which I thought was a pretty funky name. But then from about the second or third episode onwards, it ended up being called the Philosopher's Stone, and I thought we'd stumble into the world of Harry Potter. But I got used to it, it was no biggie. But with how powerful the Philosopher's Stone is, as you'd probably expect, not only is it really difficult to find, but these aren't the only people that are after it. So a lot of characters get introduced to it, and once you've got the homunculus, the state alchemist, plus the other random people that come into it, there are quite a few characters, and for a little while I did sort of struggle to keep up with who was who and what was going on, partly because some of the characters do look quite similar, but eventually you get all the names and all that sort of thing down, so it was pretty good. Though the series did start off really well. It explained the whole concept of alchemy really well, and it had a brilliant first few episodes. And I really like Nina. She was a little girl, really sweet, but with what happened to her, I was amazed by it, and it's pretty much what got me really into the series. And I was watching it, I couldn't believe what happened to her. I'm not going to say what happened to her, but I was shocked. So, mainly because it's a little girl, you don't expect that sort of thing to happen. But, yeah. So, it started off really well, and then it did slump for a fair few episodes. It never got dull or boring or anything like that. It just wasn't anything particularly special. It's introduced characters, things happened, but I kept on watching it, but I was never exactly enthralled like I was with the first few episodes. And then it started to get towards the end. It's 51 episodes, and after about sort of episode 40-ish, it gets amazing. You find out what people are up to, the lies, the betrayal, the truth in a lot of cases, everything starts to come out, and there were so many twists, I actually started to really enjoy it again. So, although it sort of started quite high, it then dipped, it then shot through the roof, and the last 10-12 episodes were amazing, and really I can now see from that sort of thing why people say it was so good, just because of the twists and all that come into it. And it's really not afraid to sort of push the boundaries a bit. You get certain characters who they get really built up and you think, oh yeah, they're going to be fine, they're one of the main characters, and then they die. So it did a few things quite differently as well, and there were quite a few characters that died that I really didn't expect them to, particularly in the way they died, who killed them and all that sort of thing. So it got really good right towards the end, and The ending, though, it left it open as if there's going to be a sort of a Fullmetal Alchemist 2. I know there's Brotherhood, which follows on the manga a lot closer, seeing as the anime series overtook the manga and they just made it up as they went along. So they then did Brotherhood to follow the actual manga, which I will be starting very soon. But it doesn't quite wrap things up. It does leave it on a bit of a sort of to be continued, but I don't think there is actually going to be a continuation for it. So, I mean, Brotherhood just starts a whole new part and it just carries on. So, I don't know, I would really like it if they did do another one. So, it is a really good series. I'm glad I watched it. It's probably not quite as good as everyone had hyped it up to be, but it is still a damn good watch. See you next time.